Let us move to Bay Area Water Supply and Conservation Agency issues. Director Piccolotti as our representative report.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Thursday, 7 p.m., we'll meet in the Foster City Community Building. That's on 1000 East Hillsdale Boulevard in Foster City. The items of note on the agenda, I'll skip right down to item A, which I brought up before, is the potential bond issuance to prepay capital debt owed to SFPUC. We're going to be taking action on some of those items. The recommendation is that we take the following actions, which will be tomorrow night: to authorize the CEO, General Manager, to amend contract with Orrick, Harrington, and Sutcliffe, subject to legal counsel's review, to begin phase 3 of the bond counsel services, to appoint Orrick as disclosure counsel and to increase the not to exceed amount by $220,000. Another action is to authorize the CEO to engage Moody's and S&P to secure credit ratings, so on and so forth, at a cost of $200,000. Item 3, authorize the CEO, General Manager, to transfer $120,000 from general reserve payments to the rating agency if bonds are not issued. And the other item, that is just a little bit of explanation. A simple explanation is that we all as agencies have future debt and current debt to San Francisco, and the thinking is that we can pay in theory pay it up front and avoid some costs down the road. It becomes $3 million becomes $30 million in 30 years. That's the train of thought that we're going with there. The other issue is the long-term reliable water supply strategy, phase 2. A couple contracts being recommended tomorrow night to complete the reprogram phase 2 work, which is authorize the CEO to issue notice to proceed to CDM Smith and Bud Wendell to complete reprogram Bud Wendell, yes, within the original contract not to exceed the amounts already stated. Authorize the CEO to amend existing contract with Hanson Bridget to complete, yes, Hanson Bridget, to complete the reprogrammed work and to increase the contract by $65,000 for a revised not to exceed amount of $141,000 for this particular project. And then develop a plan for a pilot water transfer with East Bay Mud by June of next year, and that's going to cost some money to get that done also. Recommending amounts of about $200,000 in total in 3 contracts. So I'll report at the next meeting.
You probably hadn't had a chance to see it because it just came out in an email that the Modesto Irrigation District has withdrawn negotiations with the FCC.
Yes.
For the water transfer. It's a dead.
Yep. And there was some opposition to it, so
it's done.
The pressure, obviously.
And then did I also see correctly that SFPUC has chosen their new general manager?
Yes.
Yes.
Harlan Kelly. Junior, the 3rd. Yes. New GM. Yeah, I think he'll take the position in this January.
And he dealt with the capital projects, right? Wasn't that what he did? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, Bowska related? Comments, questions? Seeing none. Committee and/or directors' reports on attended meetings attended. Let's see. We had Tom and I had a personnel committee meeting last week, and it's already been commented on. When we talked about the conflict of interest code, eliminating the one of the assistant general manager positions. Let's see, we just looked at the organizational chart as a whole, which staff had done a bunch of work and kind of, I mean, it's somewhat of a reorganization, but it's not too dramatic. We're talking about different titles and things like that, and just talking about the organization as a whole. Did you have anything you want to say about organization chart?
Oh no, just that I think the purpose of the quasi reorganization is for the general manager to be able to shape the district in the way she sees fit to efficiently and effectively run the operations of the day-to-day. So I think it's a a good, healthy step in the right direction.
I might want to add, it was just a draft.
Yeah, it's a draft.
It's just a draft, and
It's a working
I have
draft.
some comments, and I'm going to look at it again, and we'll go back to personnel, and then it will come back to the board.
I think the other thing we talked about was the substance abuse policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was next.
Is
I was
that
going
already come
to, no, I was going to mention that we did talk about two substance abuse policies, which is those for safety sensitive and then a general substance abuse policy. And I think that basically what came out of that was the safety sensitive, we didn't really, I mean, that kind of was as is, looked good. And we had a couple of comments, a couple of additions, I guess, is what you'd say to
Yeah,
our...
make it a little more user-friendly to me, in particular.
Yeah, we kind of talked, I remember we talked a little bit about coming up with a little bit of more direction for like supervisors and those on how to, on what they do if they believe an employee is come to work under the influence of something. So that will come back to the committee as well. Any questions for that committee? I went to a LAFCO meeting today, and it was a pretty brief meeting. So I will basically they have some municipal service reviews and sphere of influence updates that are very close to being finalized for San Mateo, Foster City, Burlingame, Hillsborough, Highlands Recreation District, and county-governed Crystal Springs County Sanitation District and Burlingame Sewer Maintenance District. So those should come up very shortly. They adjusted their budget a little bit. They basically had some extra money that they created a new reserve account for, is what they did with that. But their budget this year is $323,000, which is apportioned between the county, cities, and special districts. Let's see, what else? They're looking at the LAFCO, San Mateo LAFCO is looking at basically eliminating eliminating Cordilleras Mutual Water Company. It's a very tiny little, I think it's like 18 houses or so in Redwood City, and it's all encompassed by Redwood City. And, you have an instance where you got this one house that served water by this mutual water company, and the house next door is served by Redwood City, and basically everybody in agreement, Redwood City, the community there, and San Francisco PUC are all in agreement to transfer that to City of Redwood City. So LAFCO was holding off on formally doing that because the city manager of Redwood City still wanted to look at it with a utility committee, I guess, but that's one of the things they're looking at. And then just to let you know, to the executive director of Cal LAFCO, so the statewide LAFCO, has just retired, but they already have a replacement. So. And like I said, the ballots for the special district alternate member is out there, due, I believe it's October 15th. It's due by October 15th. So and I'm trying to get votes. So we'll see what happens there. Any questions for me? LAFCO related questions? Were there any other committees that we had? No? Okay. Director's comments and/or agenda requests. Any agenda requests or comments from the board tonight? No? I'm not hearing any. We don't have any correspondence, right? No correspondence. Public comment. I would encourage one member of the public I see out there to stand up and speak to us, because I believe he's going to be up here shortly.
Yeah.
Please come to the podium there and...
I just thought I'd come and see what was going on.
Okay, and your name is?
Try to get informed. I'm Jack Burkett. Thank you. That's about it. Just checking out the lay of the land, getting a scouting report, and Gene and I will meet and talk a little bit. We have the same birthdays, and it's all good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
I'd like to wish them both a happy birthday, thinking their birthdays were
Yes.
yesterday.
Oh, you know, happy
No
birthday,
change.
yes.
Made it another year.
I'm considerably older.
But we know
Virgo's rule, we know that.
It's pretty obvious.
Patrick knows.
Okay, so with that, I will adjourn our meeting at, let's see, almost 8:30, 8:26 or so.
26.